Football season is huge in the United States of America, but the country seems to be divided, especially since President Trump made a remark in Alabama last Friday. U.S. President Trump lashed out at some players in the National Football League for refusing to stand during the U.S. national anthem before a game and said teams owners should fire those players. Eagle correspondent El Aguilar reports on how Americans reacted.
This Friday, President Trump told NFL owners to fire any players who took a knee during the national anthem.
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired! Some owner's gonna do that. He's gonna say, that guy that disrespects our flag, he's fired. And that owner, they don't know it. They don't know it. They're friends of mine, many of them. They don't know. They'll be the most popular person for a week. They'll be the most popular person in this country, because that's a total disrespect of our heritage. That's a total disrespect of everything that we stand for, okay? Everything that we stand for. But you know what's hurting the game more than that? When people like yourselves turn on television and you see those people taking the knee when they're playing our great national anthem. The only thing you could do better is, if you see it, even if it's one player, leave the stadium. I guarantee things will stop. Things will stop. Just pick up and leave. Pick up and leave.
NFL owners did not listen to the president. This only caused players from almost every NFL team in the nation to take a stand. According to a report from Yahoo, around 130 players could be seen kneeling in the 13 games that took place this Sunday, the largest demonstration since former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick began protesting in 2016 due to police violence against people of color.
First of all, yes, there are racial injustices and inequalities that are going on in the world, and we need to do something about this. But my personal opinion is this: don't do it during our national anthem. I think we need to show reverence and respect. That is why we stand during our national anthem. That is why we take off our hats during the national anthem. I think that that is a sacred and honest place where we need to revere the flag and revere and respect those who died for our country and died for our freedom and fought for our freedom. I think there's other ways to do it. I think we can show peaceful protests. I think that we can use our voices and use our language and our thoughts and write them down and gather people together that way and get the message to our politicians and to our leaders of our communities and do it that way. I don't feel like we should be doing it during the national anthem. That is a time that we should stand up and respect our country and the national anthem. I do like the fact that these players and these teams are locking arms during the national anthem. I think that's one way to show unity and brotherhood and respect. I don't agree with taking a knee. That is one thing that I'm constant about. But there is something that needs to be done, and I think there's other ways that we can do this.
This weekend's games, some players took a knee and some held hands and locked arms like the Jets and the Giants teams during the national anthem, only to bring more attention to the racial injustice and inequalities that have been going on across the country. One particular team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, took it to the next level by staying in the locker room during the national anthem. Critics say that the protests are disrespectful of the country and its military. Many fans have mixed emotions over this. Some are angry, some decided to not watch the games anymore until the kneeling issue is over.
Here in the United States, we have a long tradition of using sports as an escape from the stress of everyday life. You're having a tough time at work or school or home, you go to the ball game. You see a football game, and for 3 or 4 hours, all that matters is your team. You scream, you yell, you cheer, you drink and you eat, and everything goes away for those few hours. But now the National Football League is making fans withstand the protests of NFL players who, for any number of reasons and in any number of ways, protest during our national anthem. And I can tell you that for millions of Americans, not just football fans, millions of Americans are deeply offended by this, and the National Football League is starting to pay the price. The NFL loves to wrap itself in the flag, but it's the same league that tried to fine 2 members of the New York Giants last year for wearing athletic shoes that were designed in tribute to the victims of the 9/11 terror attacks. The bottom line is this: nobody goes to a ball game to get preached at and to get lectured about social issues, and that's just the way it is.
With this controversy going on, networks are suffering. According to Sports Media Watch, NFL ratings were down in 9 of 13 time periods through the pro season's first 2 weeks. Another factor why the ratings are down in the beginning of the season, it's Hurricane Irma that hit the state of Florida. From the New York Bureau, Ellen Aguilar reporting, and I am one with 25.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump defended and doubled down on his criticisms of National Football League players who sat out, knelt, and linked arms during the pregame national anthems, calling it very disrespectful to the flag and to the country. Let's listen in.
Well, that's okay. Look, he's got it. I think it's very disrespectful to our flag and to our country. So I certainly think the owners should do something about it. There was great solidarity. I watched a little bit. I was not watching the games today, believe me, I'm doing other things. But I watched a little bit, and I will say that there was tremendous solidarity for our flag and for our country.
Your friend, Robert Kraft, said he was disappointed by what you said on Friday.
Well, that's okay. Look, he's got to take his... He has to take his ideas and go with what he wants. I think it's very disrespectful to our country. I think it's very, very disrespectful to our flag. I like Bob very much. He's my friend, but he gave me a Super Bowl ring a month ago, right? So he's a good friend of mine, but and I want him to do what he wants to do, but we have a great country. We have great people representing our country, especially our soldiers, our first responders, and they should be treated with respect. And when you get on your knee and you don't respect the American flag or the anthem, that's not being treated with respect.
Are you claiming racial tensions,
No, this has nothing to do with race. I've never said anything about race. This has nothing to do with race or anything else. This has to do with respect for our country and respect for our flag.